What's good everyone, yadiiiigg, 4 eyes, 2 G's here, and today we're here to talk about a few artists who have come out in the past several years or so with a big run, but then weren't quite able to keep up that momentum. Some of them are one-hit wonders, some of them have had a couple hits, but regardless, their run was short-lived and they kind of fell off fast. And in this video, rather than focusing on how they fell off, I wanted to focus on where they're at now. And firstly, let's kick it off with Makonnen. See, the thing is, at Makonnen's core, he made underground music. Tracks like Super Chef and Wrist are staples in internet hip-hop culture. However, when he got that Drake co-sign with Tuesday, even though that song clearly had the mainstream friendliness to it, the majority of his other music didn't, so really he wasn't able to appease that crowd. So when he continued to come out with bangers like Trust Me Danny, although fans like myself were loving it, the mainstream just didn't get it or gravitate towards it. And fast forward a couple years now, and he's in a bit of a transitionary period. His relationship with Peep and the music that came out with Peep since Peep's unfortunate passing did help to get his name out there quite a bit and got people paying attention. However, it seems that didn't really translate to his solo material, which is quite different from his stuff with Peep. Some of his newer material like Super Chef 3 or Trap Going Crazy gives off that old Makonnen vibe, but the reality is that audience that was there in the early days just isn't there like how it used to be, and the music he's making right now sounds pretty unpolished, and quite frankly it just doesn't stand out in the sea of new artists that people could be listening to instead. And moving on, next to touch on, we get to OG Maco, and OG Maco is a straightforward one-hit wonder, no ifs, ands, or buts. And it's kinda sad because across his music, he really did show a diverse range of sounds and a lot of talent. But what hurt him most back, especially when he was popping, was his infatuation with beefing with people, leading to the point of him essentially getting blackballed. The long list of artists he's had words for includes the likes of Beyonce, Future, Travis Scott, and Migos, who were even on the same label as him. And beefing with these kinds of artists when you literally aren't even established and haven't been in the game for longer than a year or two just makes you look like a bit of an egotist, up yourself, and ultimately alienates you from fans and the public. Adding to this, he's gone through some difficult times with quality control since he lost his buzz, which he has publicly complained about. And I can feel for him here when they do release 2 different compilation tapes without him being on a single song. And also, it's clear that there have been some health issues that have held him back. Recently, we saw him come out with a pretty serious skin disease. So yeah, I don't want to harp on that fact too much because clearly he's going through a lot right now amidst his health issues. But even on top of that, the label situation has been holding him back for a minute now. And before we go on, guys, a quick shout out from my Instagram. Shout out to Elijah_17 for showing me love. Big ups to him. Appreciate that. If you guys haven't yet, do make sure to follow me on Instagram at yadiiiigg. Appreciate all the love and support you guys show me over there. Also, a reminder about my merch. We have the Travis and with the Cardi tees on deck. Link in the description to cop if you're interested. Also, like, subscribe, comment, all that good YouTube stuff. Also, make sure to turn on those notifications so you guys know when I drop a video. But let's get back to it. And moving on, we get to Ugly God. And I did touch on Ugly God before his most recent project, so I think it's good to recess now that we've seen it drop. And there's no sugarcoating that Water has eclipsed Ugly God at this point in his career, and his inability to follow up that moment or the XXL moment with a solid project or another hit significantly hurt him. I think he kind of suffers from the same thing that Lil Yachty does. I, like many of you, I'm sure, back in 2016 got introduced to Ugly God with songs like Water, FTBT, and I Beat My Meat. However, since that time, his style has matured and taken on less of a quote-unquote funny undertone. But unfortunately, that audience, well, what was left of it after the booty tape and his lengthy break, didn't really gravitate towards his more serious style, and he's lost a lot of that buzz he once had. I don't want to say he's irrelevant or he's fallen off, because on all fronts his numbers show that he still has people checking for him, but now it's taken this smaller fan base that he has and trying to make interesting enough music for the wider audience to start fucking with him again. A song like 1-2, whose hook actually has some personality and some character to make it stand out, actually did pretty well numbers wise, so hopefully we can get a video for that soon. And he keeps dropping music because Ugly God can definitely not afford another lengthy break like he did last time. And next to touch on, we get to Desiigner, and I quickly touched on him in my XXL video, but I want to do more of a deeper dive and touch on a couple things. Firstly, anyone who says Desiigner is a one-hit wonder is rewriting history and is ignorant. Timmy Turner was also a hit, and as well as this, his 2017 outlet, while far from a commercial smash with over 1 million streams between Spotify and YouTube alone, it's definitely a mini hit at least, and I do think he kind of kept his relevance up to that point. but then after that, he did admittedly slowly fade off into irrelevance, which is where he's at right now. And from what I can tell, with no label back releases throughout 2019, only a couple SoundCloud loosies, at this point, the train wreck of a label that is good music has practically abandoned him, and neither Kanye, Mike Dean, or Pusha T, who were once standing by him and supporting him when he first came out, are nowhere to be seen trying to support him and getting back up. It's honestly sad to see the state of his career. At this point, he needs to get the fuck off good and go to somewhere else where he can at least release music. But yeah, right now, label purgatory and isn't going to make any sort of a comeback without getting off good, or at least getting to the point where he's allowed to drop some music. And lastly, let's touch on Sheck Wes. This one infuriates me quite a bit because people have already written Sheck Wes off, saying he's done and saying that he'll never come back, and I want to talk about it. There's no denying his status as a one-hit wonder at this stage, but you gotta give the man a chance to follow up and come with another proper release before completely boxing this guy out. I genuinely empathize with where Sheck is at right now. He is in such a difficult place to follow up the behemoth that was Mo Bamba, but let's wait until his next proper label back single and project, and then I think we can begin the discussion about Sheck, because right now it's just too early and unfair. Plus, his track with Murder and Pump actually did alright numbers, and I am curious to see how him and his label try to bounce back after Mo Bamba, see what they come with and see what they have planned, because this would be really interesting and I think will be super telling of where his career goes from here. But that's all from me today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. If you guys haven't, hit that like button, subscribe as well, notifications, turn them on. Also, more videos of mine on screen right now. Make sure to check them out if you haven't. Peace.